Hello and welcome to another GreenStuffWorld video. In this video we're going to paint an OSL on this terrain base. And we're going to be using the Maxx Darth black to achieve some deep dark shadows, and we apply it over the black primer. As this terrain base has a little lantern, it will be perfect to achieve the effect. First we study the lantern itself and think of how the light is going to affect the base. As you can see, this lantern is going to be shining from the faces on the sides, and the top and bottom of it is going to create a shadow on the base. Using the paintbrush we can decide the angle of the light and where the shadow is going to be on the base. So the way I'm going to do it is to paint the shadow area first and then establish the light area. First I'm going to use white ink to paint the source of the light. This way we have a reference for the brightness, because when painting an OSL, the brightest point on the figure has to be the source light itself. Now I'm going to use this dark grey to start rendering the texture. I use this colour for all the rocky parts and the plastic bags under the lantern. And now I'm going to use this dark brown for all the wooden parts and the dirt on the ground. And I darken it even more with the dark grey. I'm going to use this blue for the water part. Now I add a bit of white to the dark grey and carry on highlighting the grey areas. I go back to the original brown colour to highlight the wooden areas. Now is when I start to separate the light from the dark area, trying to not paint within the shadow area that we decided in the first steps. And I'm going to use BESTIAL brown to carry on highlighting the brown areas. You can always check the angles again to make sure you're not going over the shadow area. Now I add Ember Orange to the palette, and we're going to start mixing in this colour with our previous colours to carry on highlighting within the light area. This will start highlighting and warming up all the colours of the light area. And I'm also going to add yellow to the palette for the same reason. Now I mix some orange into the grey and carry on highlighting the grey areas as well. as I carry on highlighting, I add more orange, yellow and white into the mixture to achieve that light effect. And it's very important to highlight all the edges that are facing towards the OSL. This is very important if we want to achieve the directional light effect. Now going back to the black, we're going to shadow outline all the objects. This is going to help us gain a lot of definition, and we're also going to use it to reinforce the shadows again. Now we're going to use some dipping inks to add some saturation and depth into the light areas. First we're going to use the red one to darken all the area of the light. And now we're going to use the black dipping ink to reinforce all the shadow areas. Now with the orange dipping ink, we're going to give some color to the lantern. On the lantern I paint all the outside edges of each face, trying to leave the center part in the yellow color. Now going back to the yellow, we're going to reinforce all the edges that are facing towards the light again. Now is when the effect is really starting to work. I'm also going to add the lantern reflection onto the water. First I highlight it with white, and then I go over it with orange and yellow. I'm just going to darken the outer areas again with the red dipping ink. Okay, so this is the final result. As you can see, we have the shadow area right under the lantern, and then it's surrounded by the light. And using that super dark black has really given us a boost in contrast. I hope you've enjoyed this process. If you have, leave me a comment down below with what you thought of the video. And until next time, bye!